Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm all the way here from Berlin to talk about special things. Yeah. Okay, so this. Did you know this already happened 44 years ago that they landed on the moon? And not really something really excited happened since then. But, of course, I wasn't going to tell you this if they didn't finally come up with a solution. And this is all because of this great technology called 3D printing. Yeah, super exciting. So, who never heard about 3D printing before? Okay, there are a few people, and the people that heard about it probably didn't hear even half of it, what is possible with this technology. So I want to tell a little bit about the technology, so how it works. Basically, a three-dimensional 3D drawing is sent to a box-like machine. Can look like this. And then inside oh, this was going to be my worst nightmare. If my slides don't work, this presentation will be crap, I said, okay. Okay, okay, I just blabber on and see if I can make something out of it. So, layer for layer, an object, a physical object, is built up in this machine. So it can, this is an example of a machine that uses glue and powder and colored ink, so you can print in full color. But this is not the only process. There are many different processes in 3D printing. You can also use melted plastics, extrude melted plastics, and you can use lasers. So, why is this so cool for space? Because that's what I started with, and I also want to explain a bit. Because imagine building an IKEA closet into zero gravity. That's probably not so easy. And what cool is about 3D printing is that you can print like ready objects in one go. And they can even move. And you don't have to assemble things afterwards. So that's super practical for in space. And also what you can do is very lightweight objects, because you only use the material you need. Like you don't cut out things, there is no leftover material, it's just a very lightweight object. And yeah, that's for space very practical. And back to the moon. So how they gonna finally start building on the moon? So what they came up with is they're gonna have inflatable domes and a special 3D printer that looks like this. And they're gonna print out of moon dirt a sort of cement, layer by layer over these domes. And then you can have your little astronaut house, like on the moon. And they can print several ones. And one of these domes only takes 1 week to print, so that's really cool. But of course, this is not the only thing that's possible with 3D printing. If you can build on the moon, then of course you can also build on Earth. And this is a concept for a house. Like, there is a limit in size, so they're gonna print blocks, very much like Lego blocks, and build up the house like this Amsterdam-style house. But this is very boring, actually, a very boring concept if you can imagine that they can also do things like this. This is a house also 3D printed. It's 8 meters, big chunks of like crazy plastics, and give this cool futuristic look to a house. It's almost printed out in once. So, I have a dream. What if we combine space and 3D printing with a little bit of art? Very much like this. So a 3D printed MC Escher house with stairs in all directions in zero gravity on the moon. I think it will be bigger than Disneyland. But this is a secret business plan. Don't tell anybody about it yet. yeah, back to reality. Why actually all of a sudden this hype about 3D printing? Why did you read about it so much, and why is this? This is basically a very simple answer, and it has to do with patents. So in 2009, a patent expired for the FDM process printer. It's a plastic printer. And open source has taken it over, and people start building and sharing like concepts for 3D printers and sell now even to consumers for around €1,000. You can get your own like plastic printer, which is pretty cool. But of course, the dream doesn't start with that. So who never had problems with a copy machine or a just normal inkjet printer or laser printer? Yeah, okay, I'll guess, because they are awful. And 3D printer is a bit like that, but then worse, of course. There's actually, 3D printing has this limitation, and you need a bit of knowledge, and at least you need a 3D drawing first before you can start actually print. And it doesn't work out so well a lot of times, as you can see here. So it is super cool, and Nick Allen wrote a really great piece about it. He knows everything about 3D printing, helped out a lot of people. And yeah, he basically tells in this blog post about what is possible, but what should we be aware of before you actually buy a 3D printer yourself. And the other thing, 3D printing and crime. Of course, when there is a new technology, also crime is there to take advantage of it. So with the internet, we had the hackers and the viruses and people watching us everywhere. And with 3D printing, we have the 3D printed gun. And yes, it is working. It can shoot some bullets, but it's still a plastic gun. And yeah, it's good for protecting yourself, let's say like that. And they also made very cool ATM skimmers. I don't know if you know what a skimmer is, but it's the picture on the right. That is basically can hack your bank account and like to retrieve money from your bank account. And they are already actually everywhere, and they are already being made, but 3D printing just makes it easier to produce and make them look even more realistic. And they're super cool. With chemical inks in a 3D printer, they can also make party drugs. But this is actually, on the other hand, also cool because they also can print medicine like this, and not only the party drugs. Okay, these are a bit the downsides of 3D printing, but where is 3D printing also? I'm here to inspire you about 3D printing, so it's really cool for mass customization. So what does it mean? You can print like these lampshades, every lampshade in a slightly different structure, a slightly different form, and really customize them for your customer, but they still have the same cost. So you can make pretty cool things with that. And the customer can order the lamp online. You can print on demand. You don't need storage space, and you never be out of stock as a business. And the customer doesn't have a lamp that looks exactly like their neighbors. And what's even also a cool idea is that you can send your designs digitally, and the customer prints it out locally, and there's even no need for shipping. Yeah, so that's cool. So what about 3D printing in the fashion industry? The fashion industry really has taken it over. They're really going strong. You can print jewelry, make very complicated forms, and even print things inside each other that are with handcrafting is not possible. I also wear my 3D printed earrings here. And also what's cool, you can scan somebody's head and have the perfect fit glasses and the perfect style. There's also the perfect fit shoes. I'm not wearing 3D printed shoes, unfortunately, but there are already many great concepts out there. And there are even 3D printed dresses. And this is cool what they can do with it, but the really comfortable like wearable fabrics is not yet invented, but they are working on it. Okay, 3D printed food, wouldn't that be practical? So they can already, you have already chocolate printers, so you can make complicated drawings on cakes. They made sugar sculptures, which is really nice for you with your coffee, or also to decorate cakes with it. They even already were able to print meat. But these were tiny pieces of muscle, and to print an entire burger will cost around $300,000. So it's still a bit, yeah, but it's coming. And of course, space is also taking experiments on this food, because like space food, I don't know how many know, but that's not so tasty. So they tried, let's experiment with a pizza, like the most healthy food in the world. I don't know, but so what it basically is a powder that has the same nutrition and taste and smell as a pizza. And when you print it out, it even looks like a pizza, but it's not the same as a pizza. So it's maybe nice for in space, but for here, I don't know, I'm not so convinced yet. And 3D printing in the medical industry, that's the last environment I want to talk about. They already were able to print an organ, a 3D printed kidney from a rat, and they placed it inside the rat, and the rat didn't die. It's working. And also they 3D printed an ear. So they basically printed the skeleton, which they got from Thingiverse. Anybody who knows about 3D printing knows about Thingiverse. It's a model library for 3D models. Very hyped and popular, but they got a skeleton from an ear from that. They printed it and grow cells in it. So it's an actual living, flexible ear without skin. That's why it looks so disgusting. And they even printed out the electronics in it. But if you attach this to a human being, it needs a bit more technology to be able to hear with it. So you can connect it to the Wi-Fi and listen online radio with it, but it's not really for hearing yet. And also what they printed was castings. So when your arm is broken and it looks like beautiful, it looks like jewelry almost, and it's even also has a practical function because it's light. And I never broke my arm, but I heard it's very uncomfortable and you want to scratch it, but it's not possible. So now they have this casting invented. And what you see in the bottom is tumor cells. They printed tumor cells. Yeah, how is that going to help us? Now they are actually going to test medicine now on tumor cells instead of real human beings, so they will be able to treat cancer a lot faster and a lot more efficient. So yeah, super cool. So with a new technology, and new innovation, it's all about experimenting and see what is possible. And there are so many great people that use already 3D printing to solve problems, and I'm really happy for that, and I really hoped I inspired some of you as well. Thank you for listening.